The Las Vegas Motor Speedway has been known since the 1990s for hosting electric NASCAR racing, even IndyCar racing and other road course racing in the infield, but there's a little track on the outside of the racetrack that's been around a little bit longer, I believe, and it certainly has what I think is maybe an even more rich history, producing NASCAR stars just like Kurt and Kyle Busch. It is the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Glad to have you joining us this evening on Pit Stop TV for round number 3 of the iRacing Late Model Tour, brought to you this season by Race EPI. We're so glad to have you along for the ride as qualifying is underway, and, well, everything seems to be in order so far. I know the B-roll is during the day, but, well, Zach, we are under the lights here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, well, at least the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we are so glad to have you along for the ride. Zach, it's good to have you here finally for your first race of the season with us. It's been a tumultuous couple of weeks. We had a big crash last week at North Wilkesboro that really changed things up, but the season is going strong, and round 3 is set to be an important one, especially when you take a look at this track map. This place is nice and tight.
Oh yeah, the Bullring is always known for producing a lot of good racing, whether it be late models, legend cars, hobby stocks, anything you might want to see on the Bullring. It produces some real tight, good racing. Obviously, the corners are super tight. It's almost like a paperclip, just like Martinsville. And these late model stock cars, they're just brand new to the iRacing service. I think they're going to produce some really great racing, just like we saw last week.
I see some of you out in the chat already on YouTube. Brennan Kennedy out there, hello to you. I see Brandon Herzing, how about that? He's out in the chat this evening. Brandon, good to see you. And even Steve Singer from HBR TV. Glad to see all of you joining us this evening as we take a look at the track map there for the Bullring here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How about some standings? And this has a cool new addition that we added for this week, and I think this will really help us keep track of who's who in the zoo as this season goes on. You can now see the class, and I think the class color is important for one reason, and that's position number 4 here on the standings. Zach, Timmy Holmes, he won last week at North Wilkesboro Speedway in the SOF split, is not in this race today, but would have one of the higher I ratings, I believe, or at least somewhere around midfield at the very worst. But that black license stands out. He is a pro driver here on iRacing, won last week, and we'll see how much more of the season he runs as qualifying comes to a close. McCullum, though, top of the board still. It's going to be hard to move him, but Ryan Kuhn, Landon Rat, they are poised to give it a shot. And Timmy Holmes, on the way, he jumped up way up this standing sheet, up into 4th, and that is huge. Just running a couple of races last week was a huge boost for him. And I think also worth noting is the other color that's not blue on this list, Ty Majeski, with his Ty Majeski 2 account, only a B license. Kind of interesting as he chips into the top 10, 137 points out of the points lead, but definitely compelling stories you can form from just this top 10 of standings.
Absolutely, and you've even got some drivers who have been stepping into a late model themselves. Michael Bumgarner used to be running the Cars Esports Store right here on Pit Stop TV, and he's running Cars Store in real life now. Daniel Folds, who was running some of the Legends races that we were covering here on Pit Stop TV, and he's up there inside the top 10 in points. And, you know, there's just so much going on, and you've got just so many different people that can really make something happen, especially with it just being week 2. You don't necessarily have to win any races, but a good solid finish, especially here in Top Split, is going to set you up going out for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I think right now Bumgarner seems to be focusing on Hickory Motor Speedway. No, he and Vicente Salas actually battled for the win this past weekend, and Salas finally got his first win at Hickory. Bumgarner was the track champion, I believe, in limited late models, whereas Leonard Huffman won the track championship last season in late model stock. So Bumgarner certainly knows his way around a late model, has late model stock experience, and has been a lot of fun to watch these opening few weeks, but he is not in the show today. Somebody who is, though, is our points leader, Alex McCullum, along with a couple of, well, even more drivers. Ryan Kuhn has got late model experience, runs all the time up in the north. Evan C. has a ton of racing experience. We've got definitely some top dogs in here for this one. Excuse me, as we get ready to go for round number 3. Let's take a look at your starting grid. On pole, Alex McCullum in car number 1. Well, I guess car in the sim number 2, but car on his paint scheme anyways, car number 1, with Ryan Kuhn, the highest iRating, out over his right shoulder. Kendrick Cryer will start this evening from 3rd spot, Jacob Harberts from 4th. So your top 4 iRatings in the top 4, while Jacob Putman will start from 5th, Evan C. from 6th. Then Trayton Lapsevich, Landon Rapp, John Owlett, and Caleb Hall round out your top 10 today. Spencer Dickinson and Caden Lapsevich start from 11th and 12th, while Jean-Philippe Bergeron and Caden Anderson round out our 14-car grid. And I'm excited to see how this one goes, Zach. I'm really, genuinely hyped for this. The Bullring is a track that doesn't get enough attention, I feel like, on iRacing. So for round number 3 here tonight, it's going to be a lot of fun. And really this whole week, it's going to be a lot of fun racing, I think, for these late model stocks. Waiting on the signal from the starter stand. And just like that, green flag is out. We're racing in round 3. Lap 1 complete. And what do you know, Alex McCullum out front. 50 laps the distance this evening. Some checking up further back, side by side, including here with Harberts and Owlett. Owlett down low. Harberts up top in that black, blue, and pink number 80.
These cars are really starting to space themselves out a little bit. Just 2 laps in, you've got the top 2 pulling away, and then you've got 3rd and 4th pulling away while everyone else is still left battling. Just trying to find a spot in line. The bottom line, usually the fastest way around, and it's pretty much the only way around if you don't want to lose too many spots around here at the Bullring.
A little further up front, this is the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Jacob Putman driving a little bit away from Kendrick Cryer and Trayton Lapsevich. It's interesting having both Lapseviches in this race. Both running the Pinty Series, or have run the Pinty Series. Both have tons of experience in short track racing across several different cars, even some modifieds. Lapsevich has come down to run smart races sometimes in 602s. So these guys definitely have plenty of racing experience, whether it's in a late model modified or who knows what else, a Pinty's car. And certainly Trayton is pushing the issue already here on Kendrick Cryer. There's no cautions in this D-Class series, so you have got to get going from the get-go. You can't waste any time.
Definitely, but the big thing you got to worry about is don't abuse those tires too much, because you'll end up just trying to fight too much, especially if you see it right here. These guys are snapping loose, trying to find ways to be able to push the envelope a little bit more and pick up any spots that they can. But if you use those tires up too much, you're just going to start falling back, and you won't be able to gain any spots.
Jean-Philippe Bergeron makes a pass there, and Jacob Harberts. Pass complete for him. Oh, and Harberts sends him into turn 1, and what do you know? We have got a crash here in turns 1 and 2. And Harberts allows the 18 to get back rolling, and they will continue on now the back of the field after that bit of contact up front. Here's your 2 leaders, Alex McCullum, Ryan Kuhn, and Ryan Kuhn just following the footsteps right now of McCullum. You know, I asked in the final AIRL, I'll get there, the AIRL Martin PC Late Model Showdown race. We went to South Boston for 200 laps, asked the guy leading right now, Alex McCullum, what the transition to these new late models would be like, and he was kind of reserved, I think, in his expectations. Definitely was maybe a little disappointed that the old car was going away, but when he runs like this, I don't think he can be disappointed. He is just so good, no matter what late model you throw him in, or really any car you throw him in these days on a short track, and was excited for this opportunity as well. Wanted to get that late model program running again for himself in car number 1, and clearly it's working.
Absolutely, and you know, the late model stock car taking over the old Chevy Monte Carlo, it was a little bit of a learning curve for all of us, where some of us are still trying to figure it out a little bit, but it's all around a great car, and the racing is producing great. The car counts are up on iRacing for the servers, and that's just one thing iRacing loves to see. Just see the car count go up. As you can see, 14 cars filling out, and we've got 1 car 5 laps down. That's Bergeron. I believe he's out of the race after that incident, as these guys are just fighting, looking to just take whatever positions they can, but majority it's all single filed out.
And 5 splits, by the way, for this SOF race at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time on a Monday evening. So 5 splits, 14 cars each. Do the math, that is what, 70 cars? Yeah, 70 cars. That's a pretty solid number, honestly. 70 drivers going to run an official race at 8:15 p.m. on a Monday night. That's a pretty solid amount. I think no matter how you look at it. Here's a battle, though. Caleb Hall and Spencer Dickinson for the 6th position, right in the middle of the field here, Zach. And, as these laps wear on, tire is definitely a concern. Obviously, we're not going to see any cautions, no tire changes for these guys. But they want to keep their tires in one piece for reasons like that. Caleb Hall up the racetrack with a big slide, and he will give up that 6th position. Slides down into 7th, wants to protect it from Lapsevich behind, and actually crosses the 12 car up. Beautiful.
These guys are just fighting, digging, just doing everything they can. One thing about these setups on these late models is that these cars can get very, very loose as the race goes on. As you can see here, the 7 of Lapsevich is passing Caleb Hall, who's going to fall back in line, just hanging on to that, I believe that 6th spot now. And it's just such a big difference as they still fight around for these positions. Fixed series, they're just tight.
This is not fixed. This is the open setup series.
Right, but fixed is tight, and open usually ends up being a little bit loose, at least from my experience last week at North Wilkesboro.
We're seeing, I think, the effect of this being in the open series. A couple of drivers definitely taking off right now. McCollum, Kuhn, Putman, Lapsevich. They're all kind of on their own game. Cryer is not too far back of Trayton, but Caden Lapsevich back here in 7th spot, not able to move as far forward as his brother. And I think he might be able to get Caleb Hall here, but it's going to take a whole lot of work, especially as we near halfway. Clearly, it's not going to be easy going getting past this 9 car.
It might take a little bit of a bump and run, a casual little short track trick, just moving him out of the way. There's still a lot of passing going on. I believe that's Landon Rapp who's moving into the 9th position.
Landon Rapp around John Owlett, that number 8 car sliding further back, started 9th, was up a couple of spots to 6th, and is now back down into the 10th position as here comes Caden Anderson to try and put some pressure on him. And obviously the big guys up front, they're racing for the lion's share of iRating in this race, but this is a more compelling battle to me personally. Watching these guys battle as the tires wear off and maybe they're a little less comfortable in the car right now. The guys up front, they've got this locked down. McCollum, Kuhn, Putman, Lapsevich, Cryer. The top 5 is all nice and settled, but these guys are starting to battle the cars more and more.
Yeah, just trying to find their way around and just make sure that the car doesn't really step out from underneath them. Especially at a track like the Bull Ring, you got to make sure you're hitting the braking zone where you need to be. If you're driving it in too deep, you're going to miss the corner completely, and it's just so tight that you have to get it down right there on the white line. You can see on board with Anderson. Watch his turn in. He's taking a little bit of a tight entry compared to the cars in front of him. Might not work out for him towards the long run once we hit lap 35, 40, but for the moment, he's staying right where he is, right on the edge of the top 10.
Caden Anderson gets on by John Owlett there and brings Evan C. along with. And Evan C. is a compelling story, I think, in and of his own. Recent pro champion on the dirt side on iRacing. Runs a dirt kart very often. In fact, always seems to put up Unlimited All-Stars lap records at the Big O in the summer at Iron City Motorsports Complex in South Carolina. And that's the reason I'm actually kind of interested to see how much more this guy does on pavement racing. Of course, he's got things covered on dirt, whether it's in a late model on iRacing or a sprint car on iRacing or a kart in the real world. But I want to see what he can do more so in these pavement short track cars like this late model stock car, and I think that's kind of rejuvenating his effort to get behind the wheel of this number 33 car this evening and go for it in this top split. And it's intriguing again. Just what's also I think more intriguing to me is those those kart races, dirt kart races. By the time the race is over, and really by the time even features begin for the weekend, the track is completely dried out, completely black, and it looks like a pavement track. So I'd imagine some of these things carry over. I know it's dirt, but realistically it's more like a pavement race by the end of the day, and Evan C. is using some of that experience here as these guys work lap 33 of 50. Further forward in this line, Caden Lapsevich all over for that 6th position rather, on Caleb Hall, and Landon Rapp getting closer.
Yeah, he's just looking, he's poking his nose a little bit, and he might be looking to make the move right here as the battle for the top 10 continues to heat up. Anderson's probably going to lose about 2 spots here, stuck on the outside as Landon Rapp makes the pass. into the 7th spot right in front of Lapsevich.
Yeah, a lot just happened. So Dickinson out of turn 2 that last time by, caught the fence, lost a lot of spots, while Lapsevich had to give up a spot to Landon Rapp, who was on the move. And we've seen Landon Rapp be very, very strong in this season so far. Let's revisit the standings. He's 3rd. Only 66 points out of those standings, and drop weeks will come into effect after week number 8. So watch out for car 28. He's clearly got something going for himself in these late models, and they are all catching Kendrick Cryer in this line. So as we approach 10 laps to go, they're getting closer and closer. This could be a battle for the top 5.
Now Landon Rapp is moving even just ever steadily so forward. He's right on the back bumper there.
Oh, and he hits him.
Oh, he got a little bit of a bumper. He's going to take that look down the inside. He might not. Yeah, he's not going to get him, but he's just trying to defend the spot now. Hang on that bottom line. He'll probably clear coming off the corner. Maybe not. Lapsevich still on the outside, but that's going to cost him. You've got Anderson coming back underneath. They are.
Oh, contact!
More contact.
Caden Anderson way down the racetrack, going to slide on. Watch out, Dickinson, and contact, and Outlet gets by Caden Anderson around. Where are our leaders? There's McCullum going by. This is going to be a very scary situation for Dickinson. Or, yeah, actually, he gets rolling very quickly. Caden Anderson, rather. He will finally get rolling right in front of Kendrick Cryer. Watch out, Kendrick Cryer here, then. And Cryer won't quite catch him just yet. So I guess that is crisis averted, but that was very scary. That could have been a lot worse. And here comes Landon Rapp. This is for 6th.
And he's going to clear him. Just, oh, no.
Crossover.
Move. Back underneath Caleb Hall.
Second time he's done that.
Wide line. Just try to get a good run off. Be able to clear Lapsevich and fall back in line. He's going to jump right back to the bottom. Inside on Caleb Hall. I don't think he's going to quite get to him. Yep, he's just going to fall back in line. Keep his nose down there trying to look. He's still going for it right on the rumble strip.
That was very close there between those two as they fight on the back stretch. Lapsevich trying to cover up the run from C, and Evan C. Long run speed is now starting to kick in. That number 33 moving forward as they fight now for 8th position, and Evan has got it in the number 33 car. Landon Rapp still working on Caleb Hall, and Caleb Hall has pulled off 2 of those beautiful crossovers to keep this position.
Yeah, and if you're Kendrick Cryer, you're just thinking, yep, this is going to be an easy top 5 as these guys are fighting. They're still a little over a second back from Kendrick Cryer, just trying to see if they can get up to him. But if they keep fighting like this with 5 laps to go, I don't think there's going to be any chance of Kendrick Cryer losing that spot. And here goes Landon Rapp back down to the inside. They are side by side, 1 and 2. Give the nose to Landon Rapp right there on the back straightaway, and going into 3 is Caleb Hall going to try to cross him over.
Evan C.
Oh, that is ever so slight contact, but C just poking his nose in there, and he's going to take that spot away from Caleb Hall.
Oh! No! Evan C. hooked around into the fence by Caleb Hall, and C is going to try to rejoin the race. Nearly clips Kuhn right down in front of Putman. Lapsevich and Hall now battle for the 7th spot. I think Caleb Hall was a little frustrated by that contact. Trying to slide in behind him was absolutely not clear. And drama for the 7th position as now Lapsevich will take it over. Up front, Ryan Kuhn, rather. Still just too far back from McCullum, and I think that crash made him check up a little bit. So now with 1 lap to go, presented by Whiplash Simcams, it is smooth sailing for car number 1 down the backstretch, and Alex McCullum is going to victory lane again in a late model stock car. Here's the battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Dickinson has caught them, and Caden Lapsevich will just hang on over Caleb Hall. Dickinson 9th. And everything else just kind of sorts itself out, even to Jacob Harberts there in the 11th position. And there is your race winner, headed down the front stretch to celebrate. Parks it perfectly in victory lane, and this guy's resume on short tracks on iRacing just gets better and better, Zach. You either love him or you hate him, it seems like, but McCullum is just so good, especially in these late models.
Yeah, he just has it all figured out, able to grab another win, and that's definitely going to help his points total. And he's probably just going to end up extending his points lead as the week goes on. And yeah, he's just doing everything he needs to do, and he's executing perfectly to get everything done. Looking the rest of the way with still about 8 weeks to go, he might end up winning the season championship.
Yeah, this is week 3, so even after tonight, they've got a full week of racing and then 9 more to go this season. A look there, Alex McCullum. Let's take a look at our unofficial race results, Zach, after, well, this is the 3rd race of the season that we have covered. This only kicks off week 3. There is still a whole week of racing, all but one session left to go for these guys to sort this week out. McCullum, though, on top to start things off with a big win there, and we'll be talking to him in just a moment. Finishing second, you see Ryan Kuhn, Jacob Hutman there in 3rd, Trayton Lapsevich 4th, Kendrick Cryer gets that easy top 5 you were talking about. Landon Rapp, though, I think was kind of an unsung hero, moved up a lot of positions. In 6th place, out of all that battling in that line of cars, that has to feel like at least kind of a win, a half win, if you will.
He closed. Once he cleared that whole battle that he was stuck with Caleb Hall and Caden Lapsevich, he closed that gap and got down to 0.4 of a second within about 2 laps maybe, and he just ended up running out of time. But Landon Rapp pulls in for a 6th place finish, and Caden Lapsevich and Caleb Hall round out in 7th and 8th, and Spencer Dickinson in the 9th position, and John Owlett ends up getting into the 10th position after a few minor incidents, and Jacob Harberts ends up in the 11th position. Evan C, after that right hook, just running hard for position. He ends up 1 lap down in the 12th position, first car lap down actually. Caden Anderson in the 6th, also 1 lap down, and Jean-Philippe Bergeron, our only DNF of the race after that big incident with Jacob Harberts, ends up in the 14th position, 42 laps down.
Let's talk with the driver going to victory lane this evening, Alex McCullum, who just keeps racking up these wins. It's another win for car number 1, and McCullum, as I just said, you keep racking up these wins, and it seems like this transition has been rather seamless from car to car as you pick up a pretty big one this evening here at the Bull Ring. And I think as this season goes on, statements are made with the more and more wins you get. This is an important one for you.
Oh yeah, I needed this tonight. I think we found something. I think we found a package we really like, and it showed tonight that we were the car to beat.
So I spoke with you at the final round of the AIRL Late Model Showdown, asked you about kind of the transition from car to car, and you were, I think, pretty reserved but also optimistic for this opportunity to completely change things up and go to a late model stock, a new late model stock. What's your retrospective look on that now, as the transition has been made for a few weeks and you guys have a few weeks under your belt?
Yeah, I like the late model. It's fun. It's really fun to drive. Tire wear is great. Just has a little bit too much grip. So if they could take a little bit of grip away, this car would be really, really fun to drive. But they did a heck of a job on it. Good job to the guys at iRacing for putting this together. Finally have a new asphalt track and a car to run. So it's pretty fun. But yeah, I just got to thank all the boys at the shop, EPI. They put the work in for boring, and glad to get the results for them.
And of course, you have a pretty solid Legends career going already, but do we see you getting a late model stock sometime soon? I mean, this success in the sim, it's got to translate in some kind of way. At some point, you got to get in a late model, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to. It's just the funding's not there, and I mean, it's a plan. I want to, but it's just we don't have the funding right now to go late model racing. But it's definitely a goal of mine to try a late model in the future. But
I'll tell you what, Alex, hypothetically, where would somebody go? Where would somebody try to find you if they wanted to help you get in a late model car?
They can message me on Facebook. That's probably the best bet. But yeah, if any owners out there looking to put me in a late model, you know, I'll be willing to drive it.
There you go, Alex McCullum. And you know, I think there's something to be said for the fact that you just outpaced Ryan Kuhn and some other guys that have late model experience, modified experience, Pinty's experience. You continue to do this week in, week out. So McCullum, congratulations, and who knows, maybe sometime by the end of the calendar year, or maybe next year, we see you going and winning Cars Tour races. You never know. Congratulations, though, this evening. We'll see you next week if we go to Five Flags. That'll be a whole lot of fun. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Alex McCullum with another late model stock car victory, this time at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And I know it's a big stretch to just go from an official win straight up into a late model stock car, but you never know what could happen down the pipeline, Zach. I know you go Legends Racing, you went kart racing this past weekend at Go Promotoplex. All of you guys are always working on something, so you never know what Car 1 could be doing, I guess, what McCullum could be doing in 6 months' time.
Yeah, that let's not talk about the kart racing. Honestly, I'm still in a little bit of pain. Just trying to forget about the little incidents we had. Ultimately, it was a great race, but I'm still in a little bit of pain. So why don't we do something a little bit better and talk about the schedule looking forward for the 2023 Season 2 schedule. You got the Bull Ring we just had wrapped up tonight. We had North Wilkesboro and South Boston the last 2 weeks, but looking forward, we got Five Flags, a great place for late model stock cars to go. Not a place they usually go, being confined to the areas of around the Carolinas, Virginia, and Tennessee. Langley Speedway, one track that late model stock cars do go to up in Virginia. Southern Nashville, Hickory, Martinsville, 3 great tracks that are just super amazing for late model stock cars. Lanier and New Smyrna, Nashville and Lakeland, USA, obviously a track that no longer exists, but is preserved here on the iRacing Sim. And honestly, I'm looking forward to Hickory. That's a great place for late model stock cars to go. And I'm also looking forward to, honestly, to Martinsville. That's another place they like to go to for the Valley Star Credit Union 300.
Yeah, after Five Flags, you get 4 really solid, tried and true late model stock tracks in Langley, Southern National, Martinsville, Hickory. Lanier, I think, used to have some late model stock car racing in past forms. New Smyrna, that's a little ways down there in Florida. But Nashville, I think, has occasional late model stock racing. Maybe, I could be wrong there. If not, it definitely has limited late model racing, I'm sure, which is the same chassis, different motor. And then, of course, USA International Speedway used to have tons of Hooter Pro Cup races, and they definitely have seen their fair share of late model stock racing, or at least its past forms back in the 90s. That will do it for us this evening, though, as far as the competition goes. For 50 laps of racing this evening for week number 3, of course, there is still plenty of time. And if you see this combo, you see this broadcast, and you want to get in on this, well, simply go racing. Buy the late model stock car on iRacing.com. You'll need to buy the Bull Ring this week, and even Five Flag Speedway next week. But if you hang on and you just buy the car, you can go racing at Langley. That is an included track in iRacing's base content. So you just have to get up to a D-Class license, get the late model stock car, and you can go racing at Langley in week 5. Maybe at some point this season, we'll see if you can build your iRating up to make top split. It takes a whole lot of work. I don't want to act like you can just sign up and get in the broadcast tomorrow, but if you put that work in, you can absolutely go wheeling with these guys in this brand new late model stock car. It is not outside of the realm of possibility. But as we wrap up here from round 3, Zach, let's talk about our upcoming broadcasts here on the channel. Next up, we're actually waiting until all the way on Sunday afternoon at 1:30 Eastern, April the 2nd. So we're not here for the rest of March. Kind of interesting. A slow week for us here, but Circuit Park Zandvoort next up for the Sim Pit Radical Series as we go racing at 1:30 Eastern for round 2 for them as they just kicked off their brand new season. And then Monday, right back here with late model stock cars in the iRacing Late Model Tour from Five Flags Speedway on April 3rd. And next Wednesday, we have an off week this week for the UFL Elite Series. But next Wednesday, April 5th, we go racing with them one more time. I think we have 2 races left in the regular season. Yeah, 2 races, Phoenix and then Martinsville. And next up for them, we go to Phoenix on April the 5th, Martinsville on April the 12th, and then we begin their playoffs from I had to think about this, Talladega Super Speedway. So a very tumultuous round to kick things off there, and then we'll have the championship race at Charlotte later in May. And in case you're wondering about upcoming schedules for these series, even beyond this week, this upcoming week, let's take a look at the Sim Pit schedule here. You have Zandvoort for round 2, Spain at round 3 will be under the lights, Bathurst, Okayama, Japan, all the way down through round 10 at Brazil. We, of course, look at the schedule here for late models. The schedule for the UFL Elite Series, you can see here on the screen. I mentioned Phoenix is next up, then Martinsville, Talladega, North Wilkesboro, Kansas, and Charlotte, all the way on March 10th. But Zach, there's plenty of places to keep up with Pit Stop TV and everything we have to offer, everything we have coming up, even including the upcoming North American Racing League Porsche Cup season that begins on April 27th. And there's one, well, not one place, but a few places to keep up with Pit Stop TV, 5 of them in fact, and to catch everything that we have going on.
Absolutely. You can always check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Great place to see social media updates regarding Pit Stop TV. And then obviously on YouTube as well, the main place to watch Pit Stop TV. You got facebook.com/pitstoptv, twitter.com/pitstoptv_, instagram.com/pit_stop_tv, and then youtube.com/pitstoptv1. And then obviously you can also check us out on Twitch. We also stream on Twitch. You can see all the broadcasts, YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, I'm excited to see some late model racing next Monday at Five Flags. And hopefully, so long as I have time in my very busy schedule, maybe I'll be back in the booth for Wednesday, April 5th for UFL Elite.
We'll have to see. A whole lot of racing coming up here on the channel, though, and I'm excited for what April has. It's, like I said, a slow week this week, but going into April, everything is about to kick back off. We're going to have 3 broadcasts a week, then 4 broadcasts a week. The week of May 7th, we're going to have 5 broadcasts that week at least. Everything is picking up very, very quickly as we work into the summer months, I guess. That's weird to say, as we only just started spring, but as we work into later spring, I guess, things are getting going for sure. That will do it for us this evening here from the Bull Ring. A big thank you, as always, to Elite Performance Industries, powered by the shop. They have done a fantastic job in rejuvenating and revitalizing this short track program, especially in these late models. They brought over Dustin Monburquette for these late model stock cars. They brought over Josh Cottle for super late models, and I think that has really reinvigorated that entire, specifically late model program for EPI. And you can go to raceepi.com to find out more about everything they have going on this season for 2023 Season 2 and beyond to kick off your short track, or really iRacing career in general. Of course, they offer eNASCAR setups. They offer some road setups. I saw recently they set a lap record at Monza in the Mazda Miata. So, again, a lot going on over at EPI, and a big shout out to Tyler Payne and everybody else over there making that organization as great as it is. But that will do it for us this evening from Las Vegas. A big shout out to those who make it happen in audio: ATVL, Whiplash Media, SimCams, OBS, and iRacing.com. We will see you next time, hopefully, for either the next round of this series at Five Flags next week, or potentially even Sunday at Zandvoort when we go racing with some radicals at 1:30 Eastern. We'll see you there.